Cheers, I do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? And yeah, I'm doing another version at a time. We've had enough. The redundancy department of redundancy gives you another version of a cherry old fashioned. I can't get enough. So yeah, again, I don't know how much liberties I'm taking here. Quite frankly, again, I'm of the mind that cocktail recipes aren't carved in stone. They weren't handed down from God to Moses. They're there for you to tinker with. But here's what I've done here with mine: is I've obviously got the cherry bitters, but I've changed the whiskey up a little bit using the Rolling Standard 4-grain whiskey at 92 proof. This particular whiskey, the 4 grains are barley, wheat, corn, and rye. So the rye, having rye in it, for me anyway, feels like it would fit in this particular capacity. I don't typically enjoy a wheated bourbon in an old fashioned because I find it a little too sweet. So what I've got here is 3 ounces of the whiskey, the Rolling Standard from Union Horse out of Lenexa, Kansas. I have my own homemade simple syrup. As you can see, it's a little darker than typical because I use raw sugar to make it. The cherry bitters, but the one thing different here is I've added, to fully make it a cherry old fashioned, I've added 1 ounce of the Kirschwasser, or cherry liqueur, at 90 proof. So we've got some proof going on. So cheers. Oh, that's good. It took me a while to warm up to an old fashioned as a cocktail because, as most of my millennial friends would say, "Oh, Tom, that's our favorite cocktail. You got to try it." And every time I'd have one, it was just too sweet. I couldn't find one out I liked. So it was 2020, really, when we were all kind of on lockdown. I just decided I was going to figure out how to make it. So I looked up several recipes. And again, you can go back as far as what is thought to be the original recipe. The garnish calls for a cherry, not an orange peel, like most millennials will try to tell you it has to be an old fashioned. Then again, you'll never find me putting that bright red maraschino in a cocktail. Now this is a nice dark cherry. But yeah, playing around with proportions, right? So again, 3 ounces. It seems like a lot of the recipes I was looking at called for 2 ounces of liquor, 2 ounces of simple syrup. I said, no wonder I can't drink that. That is a lot of sugar, man. So again, for me, I use 3 ounces of this. I use 1 ounce of the Kirsch and 1 ounce of the simple syrup. But typically, when I make one, I use a half to 3/4 ounce. The reason I upped it a little bit more is this Kirsch really isn't sweet. It added more alcohol, so I thought, well, let me add just a little more sugar to it. That's why I used the full ounce in this particular cocktail. And since about February, I've been using black walnut bitters almost solely in every cocktail because I love the aromatics. It delivers, but I recently bought these cherry bitters, and now they're kind of my new fave at the moment. So I kind of like what they do. It kind of changes the game a little bit. And just changing the bitters can change your cocktail quite a bit. Oh, man, that was good. Gonna have one cocktail. Just gonna allow myself one out in the pub. Then I'm gonna quit for a while. So we've got some things going on here in a little bit. So I need to keep most of my faculties about me, but just most of them, not all of them, man. I got some, but I've already got things under control. Right, I made some chili earlier today, so that'll be for. It was lunch for the wife and I, and when we have company later, it'll be lunch and dinner for everybody. I picked up some accoutrement to go with the chili, if you will. You can have the straight chili if you like. You really can. But I also picked up some of course we got sour cream. A lot of folks like sour cream with the chili. I always have cheese because I like a lot of cheese. But I picked up some Fritos because I want an old-fashioned chili billy. Some of you might refer to it as a Frito pie. But growing up, we called him Chili Billy. As a kid in Southern California, going to the Pop Warner football games or Little League games, the snack stand would always have what they called a Chili Belly, which was a little styrofoam cup, Fritos on the bottom, chili on top, and cheese and onions, if you will. I get where the big difference, I think it's kind of the portion of Fritos, right? I think Frito pie might have more Fritos, less chili, whereas a Chili Billy is less Fritos, more chili. You got it more in a cup where it's gonna, cover the Fritos, whereas they're kind of ladled over in a boat for a Frito pie, where it's kind of like chili nachos. Anyway, anyway. I was kind of in the mood, man. We also have some French fries I could fix, though. So might do some. We're gonna have a lot of leftovers, so I may do that for myself anyway. Have that Frito pie for dinner. But tomorrow is definitely gonna be a chili dog happening. We picked up these beautiful quarter-pound all-beef hot dogs at a farmer's market in St. James last weekend, so I'm dying to try them. So I'm thinking chili dog, and this isn't gonna be one of those chili dogs that you could pick up, right? Growing up, my mom and dad, I should say, had a hot truck, or they're referred to as food trucks these days, and he would serve a chili dog. But Dad's chili dog, you couldn't pick these chili dogs up and eat them. Served in a boat. It was a bun, dog, and just covered in chili and whatever else, cheese, onions, maybe, whatever. But there wasn't a pick. You had to eat that sucker with a fork, and that's the chili dog that I'm going to fix tomorrow. It's not going to be one of those wimpy ass dogs that you get out of a fast food place that you can pick up that barely has any chili on it at all. Oh no, this one's going to be smothered. I've also got some hamburger patties in the freezer, so I could also do a chili size if I so desire. So we got the Fritos. I could do the fries, chili fries. Of course, I don't know if I will. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I could also, cook up some macaroni. If you want a chili mac, could do some spaghetti if somebody wants to do kind of a skyline chili kind of thing. But for me, I think I'm gonna anyway. I'm gonna go with that classic Chili Billy for me this evening. As we're going to watch the two Hocus Pocus movies, as Hocus Pocus 2 opens tonight as I do this video. We'll relax. I got today off. I got tomorrow off. I got Sunday off. We're going to relax. Take it easy. Well, last weekend was so amazing that, but it does take a little bit to recover after you've gone away for a weekend, right? It takes a minute to get back into that. This week at work was kind of rough. Even though it wasn't a rough work week, it did kind of feel like walking underwater all week long, trying to get back in the mood. Yeah, trying to get back, man. It was rough. Just trying to make it to Fridays. Oh, I'm off today. Okay, just try to get to the end of yesterday, actually. As soon as I got off work, oh, man. I'm beat. Everything hurts. I'm out of my, not of my anti-inflammatories, and my doctor wouldn't prescribe them to me again until I made an appointment. It's pissing me off, man. It was my fault because I canceled an appointment about 3 months ago because I didn't want to go, man. What the hell? That was wild, man. Something's covering the camera. And so we're not gonna until you make an appointment. I'm not gonna renew those drugs. You little bastard. I gotta tell you, this doctor's pretty amazing. Though, we really like the doctor for kind of for reasons like that. Is that he's kind of a stickler. I could see him wanting to withhold something if I was asking for like a pain pill or something. But he knows I need those anti-inflammatories, which is kind of why he put the squeeze on me. I need those anti-inflammatories, man. damn, I'm just going to buy some over-the-counter Aleve. Screw it, I'm not going to the doctor. Oh man, but the meloxicam does work a lot better than the Aleve does, which works a lot better than anything else that had been on the market. I mean, Tylenol, ibuprofen, they might as well be placebo because they don't do a damn thing for me. I was getting to where, in all honesty, I was getting to where Aleve wasn't doing anything for me. Then I started taking the meloxicam, and that did help because they're just a 1 pill a day. But I've been out of anti-inflammatories for about 3 days, and I gotta tell you, I can tell, man, I hurt in places I didn't think it should hurt, man. Everything hurts, man. Everything hurts, man. So, this is kind of helping the pain slightly. It does kind of take the edge off anyway. It doesn't make the pain go away, per se, but it gets you to where you don't care as much. I ain't worried about it. It still hurts, but screw it. Fuck it. It's just gonna hurt. That's just the way it is. Chronic pain, you get to a certain age, you're just gonna hurt all the time. It's just the way it is, man. You could either choose to get you down or just keep moving forward. I've been in such pain at work that I could hardly move, but when I had to function in front of the rest of the folks in the office, oh yeah, I mean, I'm like Superman. Oh yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about me. But there's been times I've been kind of moaning and groaning in my office, and I'll hear him out there. So, okay, keep it. Sometimes I'll move, and you'll see I'll react before I realize, oh crap. But I make noises. I'm old, man. If I get up, that knee crunches. That knee crunches, man. It ain't good. But this is very good. This is a cocktail, man. And this is one of my favorite whiskeys. Whiskeys. It's not a bourbon. 4 grains. These 4 grains, though, are insane. Corn, barley, wheat, and rye. Wow, it is just beautiful. Union Horse out of Lenexa, Kansas. They are one of my favorites. They've got a new whiskey out, a malt whiskey, but I haven't been able to pick it up in my neighborhood. I'm kind of bummed. I was hoping I'd be able to get it. It's in the Kansas City area, but I haven't been able to get that direction to be able to get it. So I really want to find, I think it's called Rivalist. But everything else I've had from them, I got that little bastard. Everything else I've had from them has been so amazing. I love their cask offerings. Anytime I can find a cask offering from Union Horse, I pick it up because they are just crazy good. And when I've had the cask bourbon or the cask rye, the Reunion Rye, oh my lord, that stuff is beyond incredible. But yeah, so some might tell you have to use a rye for a Manhattan or an old fashioned. You don't. Some will say you have to use this, that, or the other. I've got friends that prefer a wheated bourbon, like a Buffalo Trace, and they're old fashioned. I don't, because for me, wheated bourbons are too sweet. For a drink that you're adding simple syrup to, it just I think you need that rye for me anyway. But I do have a friend that will pretty much solely use Buffalo Trace, so for me, wheated bourbons are just too sweet in that capacity. But then again, that's a lot of reason why a lot of those folks are drinking the old fashioned, because they like that sweetness, as opposed to the Manhattan that isn't quite as sweet. And a lot of people just don't like that, or just can't get a handle on that sweet vermouth. And I'm not a huge fan, but my thing is I don't use a lot. I've seen recipes, again, that will call for equal parts of whiskey and sweet vermouth. That seems insane to me. I'll use 3 ounces of whiskey, ½ ounce to 3/4 ounce of sweet vermouth, and I think that's all you need. Just enough for some balance. Anyway, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor, wisdom man. All right, good guy. Cheers.